All right, so for home plates, only 4 problems. Only. Number 1 has to be solved 4 different ways. By graphing, square roots, factoring, and quadratic formula. Numbers 2 and 3 have to be solved by completing the square. And number 4 has to be done by, or solved by completing the square and quadratic formula. I'm sorry? Be nice. Take it back. All right. Our objective for today, I can solve and graph quadratic equations. Copy that on your Cornell notes. Also, you do need a Frere model. I can solve and graph quadratic equations. Today we are using 2 other methods, completing the square and quadratic formula. But the concept's still the same. So, on your Frere model, make a Frere model, quadratic equations. I want you to give me a definition without looking at your notes. 1 example, 1 non-example, and a hashtag. 45 seconds. Yeah, today we don't have a lot of time, guys. It's going to go really fast, so everybody go like this. Bear with me. All right, does it look something like this? 2 variable equations, highest degree is 2. 1 example, 1 non-example, 1 hashtag, yes? All right, you have the notes. I just wanted to see if you actually remembered because, what's tomorrow? Okay, anyways. Example 1. Solve by completing the square. X squared minus 6x minus 16 equals y. Bless you. Copy that. Hurry up. Just copy it. You don't need to copy the steps. They're going to be up there all the next 3, 4 examples, so you can copy them as we go along and we have the extra time. But for right now, just copy the equation. I'm going to go over the process. All right, here we go. Writing utensils down, look up to the screen. Focus, please. All right, I'm going to go over the process, and I'm going to use the same colors every time. Every time, so that you can understand that the process will be the same every step of the way. So if you have your colored pens, when I ask you to copy, not right now, you copy exactly as I write it up here. Okay? Here we go. Writing utensils down, look up to the screen. Ready, Jake? Ready? All right, here we go. Focus, please. Please, pretty please. It says, solve by completing the square. Step 1. Step 1 says that set the quadratic equation in standard form. A standard form of a quadratic equation looks as follows. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals y. Does this look like this? Yes? Okay. Good. Guys, focus, please. You'll finish copying at the end. So, this does look like this. But then this says solve. To solve for x, we always need to change y to 0. That is correct. And right now you're just paying attention. So that means step 1 is done. Step 2, divide the entire equation by the leading coefficient. Divide the entire equation by the leading coefficient. Mr. Q, what is the leading coefficient? When an equation is in standard form, we go to the first term, and the number multiplying the variable is our leading coefficient. What is the leading coefficient? 1. So I'm going to divide by 1. X squared minus 6x minus 16 equals 0. And of course, some of you are thinking like, Mr. Q, why did I just do that if I get the same thing? Because we're writing the step and doing the step. Muscle memory, guys, because once you start skipping steps, when you get to more complex numbers or problems, and if you're skipping steps, you're going to make mistakes. I'm just giving you a heads up. Step 3. It says, eliminate the constant. Now, let me take you back to the beginning of the school year. When I introduced expressions, I said, here's a variable, here's a constant, variable and constant. The number without the variable is a constant. All right, let's go to our equation. Which is the constant? Negative 16, which means I need to eliminate this by doing the inverse. I end up with x squared minus 6x equals 16, and you're just paying attention. So, I left the space here so that it's obvious for step number 4, and your noodle can remember step 4. Step 4 says, add b over 2 squared. Add b over 2 squared. Well, let me see. Does my equation look like this? Yes. Yes. Where is b? Next to the s. So what is b over here? Negative 6. So I'm going to add negative 6 over 2 squared. Add negative 6 over 2 squared. What I just did right now, I completed the square because there was an empty spot. I completed the spot. I'm going to simplify. X squared minus 6x plus 9 equals 16 plus 9. How do you get 9, Mr. Q? What is negative 6 divided by 2? Negative 3. What is negative 3 squared? Negative 3 times negative 3, 9. All right, can I simplify this side a little bit more? Yes, 25 equals to all this. All right, now we're there. So we're done with step 4. We're almost done. We have 3 more steps. Next, I need to factor. Now, the word factor automatically triggers in your noodle to do go power rate, right? Doing the power rate. However, I'm going to show you the shortcut now that this is a perfect square. Didn't yesterday deal with difference of squares? And what was the technique that we used? Square root of the first, x, square root of the last, 3. But this case, we have a middle term. All we're going to use from there is the sign. So what is the sign there? Minus, and we write this to the second power. You're saying, I don't see the factor, Mr. Q. If I was to take this off and rewrite it, it will be x minus 3 times x minus 3. Now I'm done with step 5. Now I'm down to the last step. Step 6 is basically solve for x. So, if I need to solve for x, I need to leave x by itself. How do I cancel this square? Square root. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. I'm left with x minus 3 equals plus minus 5. Am I done solving? No. I need to add 3, add 3. I'm left with x equals 3 plus minus 5. Am I done? No. Here I have 2 equations. Look at it. X equals 3 plus 5 and x equals 3 minus 5. Do you see it? That's why I need to write x sub 1 is 3 plus 5, which is 8. And x sub 2 is 3 minus 5, which is negative 2. These are my solutions. Copy that, please. Copy that. Some of you already finished copying, so I'm going to advance your screen. You have an equation, example 1Q. It says solve by completing the square. X squared minus 4x minus 12 equals y. I want you to copy that on paper. See if you can do that one by yourself. Follow the same process. I'll give you some time. I'll leave this one up here on my screen so you can see the process. Copy and go. All right, here goes example 1Q. Step 1, I'm pretty sure everybody did x squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. Step 2, divide by 1, x squared minus 4x minus 12 equals 0. Step 3, eliminate the constant. Add 12, add 12. We end up with x squared minus 4x, leave a space, equals to 12. Step 4, we need to add b over 2 squared. So what is b? Negative 4. So that means add negative 4 over 2 squared. Add negative 4 over 2 squared. Simplify. X squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 12 plus 4. How did I get 4? Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. What is negative 2 times negative 2? 4, because that's squared. Can I simplify this side a little bit more? Yes, that's 16. Bring everything else down. X squared minus 4x plus 4. Next, factor. Shortcut, what was it? Square root of the first, x. Square root of the last, 2. Use the sign of the middle term, minus, and write it as a square, equal to 16. Bless you. From there, we're ready to start solving for x. Bless you. So therefore, how do I cancel this square? Take the square root. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. We're left with x minus 2 equals plus minus 4. Next, I'm not done yet, so I add 2, x equals 2 plus minus 4. Am I done? No. Two equations, x sub 1, which is 2 plus 4, which is 6. X sub 2, which is 2 minus 4, which is negative 2. Solutions. Yes? Right here? Question. Look up. Question was, Mr. Q, if I do square root here, what if this one's a positive? Well, what do you write here? Positive. And then just write it square. Yeah? We good? Hands if you got that, please. All right. I'm going to leave this up here, and I'm going to forward your screen so you can do the next one by yourself. Yeah, it's coming back, right? All right, there it is. Example 1, super Q. It reads, solve by completing the square. X squared minus 4x minus 6 equals y. Focus, please. Follow the process. By now, your process that you have already in your noodle should kick in by the practice that we did. And the only thing this one at the end is going to be a little bit different. Okay, so don't stress. Just stop where you feel that it's a little bit different, and I'll finish it off at the end. Copy and go. All right. All right, here goes. Step 1, everyone. X squared minus 4x minus 6 equals 0. Step 2, divide by the leading coefficient. Right now it's 1, so that leaves us with x squared minus 4x minus 6 equals 0. Step 3, eliminate the constant. What's my constant? Negative 6, so I add 6, add 6. Left with x squared minus 4x equals 6. Next, add b over 2. What is b? Negative 4. So I add negative 4 over 2 squared. Add negative 4 over 2 squared. Simplify. X squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 6 plus 4. When I get 4, negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Negative 2 squared is 4. Can I simplify this side a little bit more? Yes. That leaves us with x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals negative 10. Factor. Square root of the first, x, square root of the last, 2, sine of the middle, minus squared equals 10. From there, we can start solving now. How do we get rid of this squared? Square root, square root. We're left with x minus 2 equals plus minus square root of 10. Can 10 be simplified anymore? Let's see. What are the pair of factors? 1 and 10, 2 and 5. None of them is a perfect square, so it stays as it is. Let me continue. Plus 2 plus 2, x equals 2 plus minus square root of 10. And this is the only time that you can leave it like that. Wow. And if you got it to right there? Yeah. However, cautionary note, what if this was like one, like in the warm-up? Square root 75. What would we do? You factor out the perfect square. Is that correct? Or, yeah. What's that? Yeah. It's a shoe. There it is. Yeah. All right. Shall we figure this out and figure out with these? Yeah, we got this, yeah? It's coming back? Yeah? All right. Crank it up a notch? Yes. All right, here we go. Yes. Okay, writing utensils down, don't copy this one. Look up. Let me show you why it's important to practice the process. Step 1, it's done. What is step 2? Divide by the leading coefficient. What's the leading coefficient? Negative 3. This leaves us with x squared minus 6x plus 5 equals 0. Does this look familiar? Yes. Don't skip steps. Oh my goodness. Next, look at this one. Look up, look up. Hold on. Who notices that on the left side of the equation we have x squared and x by itself? Let me go back to the previous problem. Look at this one. Didn't we end up here with x squared and x by themselves on one side? And what step are we after that? We are going to continue step 4. Is that correct? Which means this problem, bless you, they already did step 1, 2, and 3 for us. Bless you. So what do we do after that? Step 4, add b over 2 squared. So what is b? 10. So we add 10 over 2 squared to each side. So that leaves us with x squared plus 10x plus 10 over 2 squared. I'm going to write it so you can see it. Negative 9 plus 10 over 2 squared. Simplify. X squared plus 10x plus 25 equals negative 9 plus 25. And you know what to do from there. Yes? Yes? Yes. All right. Yes, sir. You would divide. No. Question was, Mr. Q, what if we have these two terms over here and there's a leading coefficient? Divide, don't go back anymore. The entire equation. Okay? All right. So that brings us to your favorite. Copy this, please. Quadratic formula. Yes. It's back. I told you guys. You guys were going to be in high school, seniors, walking through a donut, and all of a sudden, quadratic formula. Quadratic formula is x equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Write that down. Oh. You wrote it twice? Yeah, both of them. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Quadratic formula is x equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. We got it? X equals minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Mr. Q, why do we need to know that? Well, copy problem number 2. Solve using the quadratic formula x squared plus 16x equals negative 15. I'm going to give you some simple steps on the right-hand side. Copy those as I go and do them for this one. Here goes. We're going to do this one together. Step 1, it needs to be in standard form. Focus, please. So standard form means that all terms need to be on one side and they need to be equal to 0. Is that correct? So that means I need to do what here? Add 15, add 15. So we're left with x squared plus 16x plus 15 equals 0. Step 2, ID A, B, C. What does that mean, Mr. Q? Identify A, B, C from the equation. A, B, and C. Let me erase this so that people don't get, oh, sorry. Here it goes again. Sorry. We got x squared plus 16x plus 15 equals 0. And we need to identify A, B, and C. What is A, everyone? 1. What is B? 16. What is C? 15. Now that we know what they are, step 3. Q, S. What is that? Quadratic formula. X equals minus B plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And you're copying this, right? You guys are copying this? Yes? Very good. I said we were doing this one together, yes? Step 4. Substitute values and solve for x. So check this out. When we get to that step, guys, very important. Listen to what I'm about to say. Very important, before you substitute, you replace each variable with parentheses. X equals minus parentheses plus minus square root parentheses squared minus 4 parentheses over 2 parentheses. Why, Mr. Q? Because most common mistakes is made right here. There's a negative next to the b. If the value of b is a negative number, some people forget that, and if you get that wrong from the beginning, the whole thing is wrong. United. All right, let's substitute values in here. Focus. So we got A is 1. A goes here next to the 4 and next to the 2. B is 16. It goes at the beginning and in the squared. And C is 15, and it goes over here at the end, 15. Okay. So did we substitute? Yeah, now we need to solve, which means we need to simplify the whole thing. Here we go. X equals negative 16 plus minus square root 16 squared, 16 times 16, that's 256, minus 4 times 1 times 15 is 60 over 2. Let's simplify still. X equals negative 16 plus minus square root 256 minus 60, that's 196 over 2. X equals minus 16 plus minus Square root of 196 is 14 over 2. Are we done simplifying? No. X equals, what is negative 16 divided by 2? Negative 8. Plus minus, what is 14 divided by 2? 7. Does this look familiar now? Yeah, two equations. X sub 1, negative 8 plus 7, that is negative 1. X sub 2, negative 8 minus 7 is negative 15. And these are my solutions. So basically for quadratic formula, guys, all it is setting it in standard form, substituting the correct values, and simplifying all the way to get your solution for x. Okay? Show me your fingers how comfortable you are with this. Yeah, we got this. Okay, I'm going to leave this up here, up to right there, and you do the next one by yourself. Yes. There we go. X squared plus 10x equals negative 9. Do that one by solving using the quadratic formula. That doesn't matter. Yeah. Thank you. Copy and go. All right, here goes the process one more time. Step 1, standard form. X squared, plus 9 plus 9. That leaves us with x squared plus 10x plus 9 equals 0. Step 2, identify A, B, and C. A, B, and C. What is A? 1. What is B? 10. And what is C? 9. Step 3, quadratic formula. X equals minus B plus minus square root B squared minus 4AC over 2A. X equals minus parentheses plus minus square root parentheses squared minus 4 parentheses over 2 parentheses. Substitute values. Wow. A is 1, so that's next to the 4 and next to the 2. B is 10, it goes at the beginning and the square. And C is 9, goes right there. And continue. I'm going to simplify and solve. Here we go. X equals negative 10 plus minus square root. What is 10 squared? 100. All right. Minus 36 over 2. X equals negative 10 plus minus square root 64 over 2. X equals negative 10 plus minus 8 over 2. That gives us x equals negative 5 plus minus 4. I did? Where? Yeah, I did. X sub 1 is negative 5 plus 4, which is 1. And x sub 2 is negative 5 minus 4 equals negative 9. Solution. What's that? Yeah, I did that to see if you were paying attention. Wow. Hands if you got that. Show me how you feel with these last two methods. Have a good one, guys. There is tutoring. It's free. Enjoy your home play. See you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. You too.